welcome everyone to episode 58 of The Space Between, and we'll start off with a recap from Cherry.
All right. I don't know if I've ever been this nervous, but we took a gig where we might run into some pirates. Eva encouraged me to focus on my piloting to help us avoid attacks or boarding. So having something to focus on helped. Eva and Bo holed themselves up in their respective workshops and worked on whatever it is they love to do. As long as Bo isn't lengthening that murder list, I guess I don't really care what he works on.
Mm.
Zeke was strangely the one obsessed with the capybaras, and I think he's teaching them to play dead. I'm not sure. Thankfully, Ryu is on this flight, and so there's at least one marginally normal person for me to talk to. We did finally arrive at the edge of the system, and hopefully that was the smart way to go about things. I really didn't feel like pushing my luck. I know Eva will be missing that taste of metadimensional space, but I am really glad I don't have to taste any colors this jump. We had 3 days pass pretty uneventfully and thankfully, but didn't I did have to force Eva to shower because her general miasma was becoming a little too much. We finally got to our destination only to find a whole field of debris. And so that maybe there were pirates turned into there were definitely pirates, or at least someone who wanted to lock on our position. I don't know if I breathed the entire time other than yelling at Ryu. Um, the entire time I was trying to shake their scans, but thankfully we finally made it. The ship we were escorting tried to say that they didn't pick up being scanned, but I'm pretty sure that if our position was given up, their position was probably given up. Who knows though? Thankfully, nothing seemed to come of it, and we were able to make it safely to the station. I'm just not looking forward to the return trip.
Very nice, thank you for that. And yes, that leaves us in the orbit of Phyllis, with you guys waiting to head off to your next task. What doing?
Alright, I think we were looking to go towards that debris of uh well blown up ship as quickly as we could, since it wasn't at the edge of the system. It wasn't exactly out there advertising itself for scrappers. Will hopefully be some good finds there.
Sorry, come again about edge of system?
Just saying that it's not at the edge of the system.
Oh, right.
And so it's basically not in a easy to stumble into location, since space is big.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, I got you. Because you're saying, like, in contrast to the one that you stumble upon as soon as you came into our party.
Yeah, there's almost certainly people are picking at that where they can without getting spotted. Um, or it's already been picked clean by the people that are sitting there waiting.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the thing that we got a drop on, a tip on, hopefully hasn't been picked clean.
Yes, for hoping. Okay. Well then, without further ado, you guys can begin the trip to the moon on which your bunker awaits.
Alright. Now,
So,
you said on which our bunker awaits. Are we? Am I confused? Are we going to the debris field or are we going to the bunker?
I guess I don't know. You guys,
I thought I was under the impression we were gonna check out the wreckage and see if there's something there to scavenge first. But I guess that does beg a small question. Ben, is it feasible for Pete to do an aerial insertion? Is he smaller than sensors on the station?
An aerial insertion.
Yeah,
What?
like literally jumping through the vacuum to the moon.
Um. So let's see. That's a big question. Do you have any additional equipment, or are you just talking like Pete steps out of the airlock as is and starts falling towards the moon?
Like jumps out of the airlock.
Yeah, jumps out of there, airlock
Yeah,
floating
like
towards the
takes
moon.
a running leap in the direction from the airlock out towards the moon.
Um, so you don't have. Let's see.
I'm not
Actually,
saying propulsion other than just like
right. Just
carrying and then gravity.
okay. Um, I would
You know,
say,
cinema style.
yeah, you have you have enough information. Eva was able to, in part of her research, which this was the more publicly available knowledge, she was able to get at least like basic information about the planet, sorry, the moon that you're heading for, and it is large enough to have some gravity, and
Yeah.
so you think you think you would probably not hold up so well. Just jumping out of the ship and falling towards the moon is probably going to end badly for Pete,
Okay.
unless you've got something to slow your fall at some point.
I'm
And
pretty sure we never bought a grab sheet for him, so it's fine.
yeah,
Should have thought of that.
and as far as being small enough to slip through sensors, that always depends on what kind of a situation you're going for.
Like
Something
TL5
like
sensors.
yeah, and also in this
No.
case, a fairly small, place that you're aiming for. If it were like a city and you were hoping to like slip through their detection, they might not be scanning for every little person-sized something. Um, but yeah, a potentially TL5 or whatever bunker that you would probably expect that they would notice something your size falling at them.
Worth an ask.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when we
Yes, there
get
goes my idea.
there, we can certainly look at the situation more. We'll take a look at what signals are out there and if we can identify any kind of what their sensory capabilities are. And who knows, we might be able to find a blind spot for you if we decide to do that. The bunker is intriguing, but we got a map to the debris field as best I recall. With the warning that the bunker will fire on people looting the debris field. Unless I'm completely misremembering that.
I don't remember either.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember that it was a map to the debris field with an implication that there's a bunker on the moon, and we just don't know where the exact positioning of the bunker is.
Okay. That may be where I kind of fixated on the debris field itself and ignored the larger implications of it. So that, yeah, we'll keep our options open for if that bunker looks juicier than the debris field. You know what? That makes sense for Eva also. She fixated and focused on the debris field because it let her do lots of math across lots of planning boards and draw little explosions.
um, yeah. So I'll clarify that then, since there was some question about it. Um, you would all know what you got were coordinates on the surface of the moon for the bunker.
Oh.
The debris field was something that you would not necessarily expect to remain static, quite that much. You'd expect to still find it, for the most part, above where the bunker is, but given enough time, bits of that will have, drifted further one way or the other, or fallen out of orbit or something.
Do Eva's planning sessions trying to think of where the most valuable pieces would be still do anything?
It will.
Okay.
It's a it's a minor help because there's a lot of variables involved in it. Eva was very she was going academic on it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's gonna be probably scattered some, and what they gave you was the concrete thing that's not expected to move.
Okay. Well, that's even more exciting. We've got a physics-defying moon that doesn't even move. We need to find that tech.
That no moon.
Yeah, you guys overlooked the most interesting part of this whole mission. Just like passed it over like it was nothing.
the immovable rod that somebody planted in the moon.
Yeah. And miraculously, over however long, none of the other celestial bodies in the system obliterated the moon in passing. All right, well, you guys have 24 hours of flight time.
That does make the demo charges make a lot more sense. So
Yeah.
I think that last 24 hours will let Eva and Bo finish the second one, right?
I think that's what we decided before, that that because Eva was not only getting an assistant but also well, let's see, you guys were basically sharing time, so either having an assistant or dedicating all your waking hours to it would have the time. So just having that that one effect and sharing each other's time still let you build two of them.
Yeah, I remember that we were expecting to have them done by the time we reached the station, but then we got distracted with a day of tense pirate dodging, and so this will be making up for that day.
Oh, that day of delay. I forgot about that. That would actually need to be taking some time hanging out in the Phyllis orbit.
Wasn't
Or
the drill 6 days?
no, the drill was 3 days. It was a 1 hex drill. It was, let's see, the other option would be that Bo just focuses completely on helping with the demolition charge for the last day of the trip, and sets aside his project. That would get you enough extra time to make up for the pirate dodging distraction.
It feels like
Okay.
that changed from last session, but I don't remember it clearly enough.
Yeah, we may have glossed over it pretty quickly. I thought I remembered saying that you'd be able to, make up that time later. I may not have specified exactly how you would do that.
I think that I had inferred, or you had implied, that you were just rounding it off, rounding it down, because we've got two things that we're building. Each takes a week. We halve it once by having an assistant, and we halve it again by doing nothing but.
Well, the problem with that being that you aren't both getting 7 days worth of time with an assistant and with spending all your time on it.
Hmm.
You're basically getting, you're each getting half a week like that
Okay.
because you're both each other's assistant on two separate projects. But yeah, I've been thinking I need to do like I bet I could make a spreadsheet that would help a lot in tracking little like modding or maintenance kind of projects. Marking off a day and whether or not you had an assistant or if you spent all your waking hours on it, and filling up the time because the way
I
it.
Well,
But
I
yeah,
will tell you that I did do that for projects in my game, and it was one of the worst ideas I've had. I very
Hmm.
quickly said, "Okay, nope, this was dumb." I had some other things that contributed to the dumb. It wasn't just the tracking spreadsheet, but
Okay.
I'm a fan of less numbers. I'm happy if you're saying that, no, Bo would have to give up a day, and then let Ethan decide if Bo will do that.
Yeah, well, that's what we'll go with for now. I'm thinking that partly uh, it would help to have something just for me to track on and reference so that that makes it a little bit clearer for everybody.
You can look at my sheet. I always put it in the bottom left box when I'm building something. I didn't this time because I expected it to be we travel and it's done.
Yeah.
But for the longer term stuff, I put it in there and I just kind of keep a tally of the days.
Okay. Nice. Alrighty. So Ethan, you think Bo would set aside work on his thing, or do you think he would lobby for taking the extra time in Phyllis Orbit to get both projects finished?
I'm sorry, I had you cut off there for a sec.
So the because of the day spent focused and tense, like ready to deal with pirates if needed, you guys either need to choose one of the two projects to finish and work on that one on this last day flying to the moon, or just take an extra day in Phyllis Orbit so that you can finish out both projects.
I don't mind taking the extra day, Ethan. Evo is rushing because I thought it was the debris field and didn't want other people to get there and pick it clean. But if the primary point of interest is the bunker, I think we have a lot less to worry about it being picked clean. But we can just wait and make it easy.
I'm good with going ahead if we want to, but yeah, I guess if he would want to take the day.
I mean, she wouldn't. I just didn't want you to scuttle that last day of your project if it was something that would be interesting and valuable to you right now.
Uh, I wouldn't have enough time to complete it anyway. This would just be
This
stacking
is
up
just
days
another
towards stuff.
tick towards it. Okay, all right. Then yeah.
Yeah.
Why don't we let Eva keep thinking that the debris field is important? And Bo can help her rush the last demo charge. She's having some difficulty getting the fertilizer to mulch properly. And she's just not strong enough for some of the actual, physical grunt work that has to go into it. And she's taking too much time trying to build a little machine to do it for her.
Okay, and I feel like homemade bombs might actually be something in Bo's wheelhouse already. So
Yes, he's definitely got some experience working on makeshift explosives.
Yeah. Okay. Alright, I'm gonna put two explosives, two demo charges in the bottom left box of the ship sheet, since that's where I've been putting the temp stuff and
Okay.
rotors apparently.
Yeah, and I'm sure you guys remember that you have the option. You could do this at any time, but you have the option of shaping the charge basically and
Mhm.
directing the blast. So just let me know if you decide one way or the other about that. I don't recall off the top of my head, and I don't have it pulled up, if that takes a specified amount of time. Um, I wouldn't make it take a long time, but it wouldn't be a quick flip the switch as I'm dropping or placing the charge. Um, you would have wanted to have at least a few moments, at least a few hurried moments to get it ready before using it if you decide to change its orientation.
I actually had always taken it as a quick thing to shape. Um,
Okay. Well, I'm glad I said something then. Yeah, I figure I kind of infer from the fact that it requires some skill, some technical skill to do, that it's not exactly just like a built-in feature of the demolition charges. And that makes me think take a little time with it.
yeah, it's fine. We'll decide when we get there. You said it won't take too much time, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say I'd probably let you do it in with like a main action or something if it were that if you were down to that much time.
Oh, gotcha. So we're basically in the same line of thought, just using different words to describe it.
Yeah, probably so.
Because yeah, that's about what I would do too.
Okay. Yeah, my point was just that you will need to actually, do it before you are about to plant it.
Okay, okay. Yeah, no
But yeah,
problem. Let's fly ourselves out there.
okay. Um, Danielle, go ahead and give me that uh, program with intelligence check again. You don't need to do one for scanning just yet. This one is to stay on the DL. Because you guys have had to turn off your transponder again and try to go dark.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a great roll.
It's not.
Should I try to re-roll it?
I'll let you know if you need to.
I think there's also some numbers that Ben is adding to that based on ship.
Yes, you got a slight bonus there. Okay. You are good to go.
Yay.
Wait.
Yay.
Thanks for that information.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a low roll for you, but still high enough that suckers were not able to get a lock on you. And so yeah, you guys will slip out of the orbit of Phylus, headed towards this other planet, and notice no change in the pirate ship movements.
Okay.
Let's see then. So you guys are on your way. You've got your day. At Eva and Bo working tirelessly to finish off another demolition charge. Carefully crafted and directed explosive force.
Indeed.
It's not with an emphasis on making sure it doesn't explode until you want it to.
Yes, that's important. Eva has all of her fingers and wants to keep them, although she is not averse to metal fingers.
Yep. All right, then let's see here. I'm trying to think and talk and do too many things at a time. I was looking for something, and now I forgot what I was looking for. Hmm. Well, okay. Yeah, one sec. Doing a little bit of side chat. Okay. So I was just going to ask if anyone else had anything specific they wanted to do with this day of time. Or if you just want to get there already.
Yeah.
All right, get there it is.
Yeah.
So wait,
So,
actually, one thing, man, regarding
Mhm.
our side of the station here, um, is there anything that we could do to try and identify that weapon before we got there?
so I'm going to say Zeke could talk to somebody else and try to describe what he saw, or perhaps even project it into their mind to show them what he saw.
Yeah, so for everyone else, I guess, an aside that Ben and I are having is regarding Zeke's vision and the premonition of a weapon on the surface of this moon that was shooting at us. So, um, I guess I didn't know if there was anything else that we could do to identify that weapon in advance.
Yeah, so if I can clarify even just a little bit, basically Zeke isn't sure, he's not familiar enough with weapons and weapons at that scale and whatever to just identify the type and know anything about it at a glance, but he might suspect that somebody else would know that if he thinks, hey, maybe it would be helpful if we knew what kind of weapon that was. Then he's welcome to do that.
I mean, he's going to be best suited for that, I guess.
Yeah, I would say call a whole meeting for it.
Yeah, why not?
I mean, Pete's been on mercenary ships. Bo has an interest in weapons, and Eva likes knowing as much as she can about everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so
Checks out.
yeah, it's because Zeke had presumably, I think, had mentioned that, he described the vision, but it's fine for it to just occur to him later. Hey guys, actually, can we talk more about that?
Well, yeah, he's
Had
he's just gonna use this facile mind ability to just show him what he's seen in his vision.
Is
Alright,
it
so he gathers everybody.
clear enough?
So I am gonna want a skill check from somebody who wants to try to identify it. This is definitely, this is like, kind of like ship scale weaponry, or it's large scale weaponry, whatever you want to call it. It's not small arms fire that that maybe everybody has seen something of by this point. So I would want a skill check from somebody who was inclined to be an expert in this moment. And I'll let as many people as want to make a skill check this time.
Wouldn't be a shoot with knowledge. Or what are we looking at?
Yeah, you could do a shoot with intelligence, or I'd take a no skill check.
I guess I'll go ahead and
Can
do a
Zeke
no
roll
skill
that
check.
into
I feel like
Shoot.
Pete would like to contribute on the shoot with knowledge.
Yeah.
the- for that, or so we already established he doesn't know what it is, right?
Zeke, correct, yeah.
Wow, I don't know that I can add anything to that pool.
Everybody knows stuff.
I mean, I'll just see, but
There
I
you go.
don't
Join in the knowledge pool.
Yeah, it
shoot
might be a group
with-
information thing.
Nope.
The knowledge pool is at whatever the temperature your brain is.
Well, Pete's room temperature.
It's like, don't jump in, it's cold. Okay, so I think
The human brain is slightly warmer than the typical body core temperature, apparently.
yeah. All right, cool. So those are both successes. Both Eva and Bo coming from different angles on this question. Both being able to see the image in their minds that Zeke projects of that moment in his vision that he had earlier. Both are confident that that weapon does not match anything that they have ever seen.
Right.
So we confidently have no idea.
Figures.
And that is and maybe I should clarify with a little extra. Between the two of them, they compare notes from their different experiences and sources of knowledge, and they're pretty confident that they've covered all known modern forms of weaponry at that scale. Now that leaves a pretty significant gap in pre-tech weaponry that is much less known.
Fancy,
But,
fancy good.
Yeah, as far as post-tech, does not ring any bells.
Okay.
Well,
We
And let's see. You know what? I'll throw in a free tidbit that just, as far as comparison goes, it did seem perhaps the most similar to the form that the beam of the spinal beam cannon takes.
Oh wow.
Though the both the coloration and some of the characteristics of the beam itself were significantly different from the way that post-tech beam cannons operate.
Okay, all right. I imagine that once shown, Eva just kind of starts nattering on about what she's seen and not really reaching any kind of conclusion. Depending on how long Zeke will tolerate her spinning around in
I
intellectual
feel like
circles.
Pete would actually be the one that interrupts and says, "Eva, I want it.
What?
I want it."
What do you? Actually, yeah. This mission just got a whole lot more dangerous.
Yeah, it's got range limitations. We can walk or teleport or whatever. We have options.
Yeah.
Great options, no, but options.
We need information about that moon. If it's got power supply, if it's open, if there's any air coming out of the base. Need to know if anybody's inside it operating or if it's all automated.
Well, if they got a cannon like that, I bet it's automated, and I bet it's still automated because nobody's stolen it.
Well, anyone opposed, it's gonna be more dangerous.
I hope it is. Didn't buy all them guns for nothing.
Well, I mean, dangerous like we might not make it back if things go really wrong. Cherry? Zeke?
We'll make it back.
I kind of accepted that going anywhere with you guys meant I might not make it back, so
But this is the safest and most flavorful ship in the sector.
it's definitely the most flavorful.
I love your confidence, Zeke. Okay, let's plan.
Well, maybe we should scan first.
Oh, I didn't mean
Well,
plan right now.
that's-
Like, we don't have enough information to plan right now, but I thought it would sound cooler than it did.
It's also acceptable.
How quietly can you get us there, Cherry?
Ben,
Mm-hmm.
how confident would Cherry be that she could in fact get them there quietly?
I'd say it depends on where they want her to take them. Knowing that it's probably some kind of pre-tech thing, she's not confident in her ability to outmaneuver their sensors. If she's gonna have to try to basically be in their line of sight.
Ben.
If she What's up?
Sorry, I thought you were done. Please
Oh.
continue, and then I'll ask a question.
Okay. She would be a lot more confident if she were able to basically come at the moon from the side they know it's not on.
That's actually what I was gonna ask. Is Eva's got like orbital mechanics of the system here. Could she assist Cherry in approaching quietly if Eva kind of charts? Well, actually, the charting would all be the piloting. But if Eva arranges and gets the information that Cherry needs,
Yeah. I'd let you make a skill check to assist on the pilot.
okay. With the intent that the intent and expectation that if we sneak up around the opposite side of the bunker, we might not get direct information about the bunker, but we could possibly get more information about the moon, and try and analyze its whatever it's sending out for scanning. If it's doing any active scanning, give us an idea of what its range is.
Okay, you're talking about getting close enough to try to analyze what signals the bunker is using to scan with.
Yes. If it's doing any active scanning, try and backtrack from that. Like what its limitations are basically, and what options that might give us.
Okay.
And we'll get to that when we get to that. I wanna let's see if we even get there quietly first.
Okay. Yeah, so yeah, let's go ahead and get a no check from Eva to see if she can help Cherry navigate this approach.
Oh wow, that's low.
Right, that'll be a +1 for Cherry on a pilot check with either intelligence or dexterity.
Okay. Should I add the one as a modifier?
Yes. All right.
Yes.
Nice. That's a success.
Yay.
I don't like how excited you were to say that.
That's a completely valid.
It's exciting for you guys. It's also exciting for me. I mean,
I
one
didn't
of the
need to hear the mild surprise in your voice.
There's
Avery,
just
did
an
you
attenuation there, like you almost died. But you know.
Avery, did
See,
you
one of the-
remember to curse luck on the GM this session?
You know what? Actually, Ben, can I do that still, or?
Fortunately, no need in this moment. But
I mean, I
keep your
can do it for fun. It's not anyway.
keep your finger on that trigger. Yeah. So success means that you do not run afoul of any sort of active detection lock or weapons fire from the moon. You are able to plot a course and actually follow it, slipping through orbits of various celestial bodies and avoiding coming in line of sight of the moon that the bunker is on.
Okay.
And part of the close to the final approach involves closely hugging the edge of one of the rings on the planet below, watching the very exciting weather patterns going on below you as you escape the planet's orbit and continue on towards its little unsuspecting moon.
All right.
And yeah, soon enough, you find yourselves in, you know, I guess, locking into orbit on the, not exactly the dark side of the moon, but the opposite side of the moon from coordinates you were given. So, you all can breathe a collective sigh of relief as you slow down, you know, power some down, and nothing happens.
Okay. So, what size of moon are we talking here? Is it one that if we had been smart enough to get ourselves a vehicle that we could set down far outside far away from the bunker, and travel there, or like I guess more broadly, what I'm asking is what are our kind of like most basic approach options?
Um, yeah, so you can take a little closer look at the planet now. You don't have a survey scanner array, but you do have sensors that you could employ. You could direct them to the planet and give me a program check to see what you could get out of it. So what do you want to know? You want to know like the scale we're dealing with, or you asked kind of a broad question. I mean, obviously you can land the ship and walk to the bunker.
Okay,
It's kind of
I think that kind of answers my question. So could we get a confirmation on that we think that we could land the ship and staying outside of the bunkers what we've observed of the bunkers scanning range, and then walk to it? Is that a question that we can ask?
yeah. I guess what kind of walking distance are you willing to deal with here?
Well, I don't know. It's more why I was trying to make it a little bit broad and just tell you what my intent was. Um,
Yeah,
I mean, is the moon so completely flat there's nothing to land behind that would obscure it?
yeah,
no.
that's a good way to
So
ask. Yeah.
okay, so yeah, let's. I was gonna say because I can maybe just to slightly clarify why I'm digging for more is, um, you don't necessarily know exactly what the range is on the the bunker's scanners or its weapons or anything like that. So I can't really tell you right now, you know, if you could do what you're wanting to do because you don't have the information to. Does that kind of make sense? Like
So what
I could tell you,
can
yeah,
you
you
tell
could
us about
land
the moon?
somewhere and walk there. But yeah, the so terrain wise, if you can ask about the terrain and then hit the scanners, Danielle, then give me an int program skill check. All right, easy peasy. Yeah, so the terrain of the moon, it is fairly barren. There is looks like essentially no vegetation on the surface of the moon. But the terrain is quite varied. It's treacherous in a lot of places, lots of sharp ups and downs, craters and cliffs, and um, plenty of little nooks and crannies that you could definitely uh, land the ship in and be out of direct line of sight of anything else on the surface, any significant distance away.
Okay. um. So we've got 2 months worth of food, or life support essentially. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and Pete doesn't need to breathe, but he does need battery. So you asked what kind of scale we'd be looking at for walking. If we'll start at the far extreme, and not even taking into account, without taking into account possibility of teleporting. If we assume 3 days of peat walking, how difficult would it be for us to approach with confidence based on, and I guess this might need another scan, based on any kind of material composition analysis we can do of the moon to get an idea of the bunker's ability to scan outside of direct line of sight.
Hmm.
So you want me to break that down a little bit? I piled a
Yeah.
lot in there. So let's start with, uh, can we try and narrow down what we think a standard or even like advanced scanning uh, apparatus would be able to detect based on what little information we have about the bunker and its position on the moon.
Okay. Um. Yeah, that. As I say, that I don't think has too much to do with characteristics of the moon that you could really, observe with your scanners. That's the sort of thing you'd need. You could do. You could do some, some inferring or, kind of, uh, maybe reasoning about it from just the information you have so far.
Okay.
So if you wanted, I could, one of you could give me either like a program check or perhaps a no check at a slightly higher difficulty, um, to use the information you got so far just to try to piece together if you think you can safely like land within a 3-day walk of the bunker and do so without getting seen or blasted out of the sky.
Yes, perfect. That's exactly what I was going for.
Okay.
Danielle, do you want to make the program check, or do you want Eva to make a no check?
I'm definitely up for making a program check, but I'm having to make a lot of them this session, so I would kind of be up for Eva making a no check.
Yeah, we'll see if Eva can talk herself through what we've observed so far and kind of just going over the specs of scanners from low end to high end. And somewhere in there, she arrives at.
She's gonna need to re-roll that.
Ooh,
Mm.
then she's gonna re-roll that. She did not do any better.
No, and not quite enough better even with the automatic +1
Does
to the previous result.
Zeke want to spend her daily use of psychic reroll?
He can do you that favor.
Okay.
All right, so yeah, he sees her maybe muttering
Starts
under her breath.
going in circles.
Yeah, scribbling on a planning board or some similar flat surface nearby, trying to decide what her conclusion is going to be. Go ahead and give me that reroll.
Okay. The planning board that she's scribbling on right now, by the way, is the what's the door to the switch panel, the spark plugs, not spark plugs, the thing that prevents your house from exploding.
Oh yeah, like the
Circuit
breaker
breaker?
box.
Circuit breaker, yeah. She's moved on to that. Oh goodness.
All right. Then that is going to do the trick for you.
Woo!
So after several minutes of straining and debating with herself and sweating mildly, Eva does come to a conclusion that she is confident, even with what she understands of pre-tech sensor capabilities and potentially like a military installation. She does think that with what she's observed of Cherry's skills as a pilot and sensor dampening and all that, it could be done.
Okay.
Now, by the same token, she's fairly certain that on the approach, she's not exactly sure when, but at least at some point before arriving at the bunker, they will likely end up getting picked up on some sort of scan.
As in, while they're walking there?
Yes.
Okay.
But she's not. She's just very unsure about the kind of the operational goal of whatever this facility is, and what it's. She's seen that it has, or she knows that it has the ability to defend itself against, like a spaceship, but she's at least hedging with the possibility that they wouldn't be expecting some sort of ground assault on this remote moon.
Okay.
Well, our experience so far is that those facilities will warn you to stay away before firing a warning shot. So, if it is pre-tech, it probably would let us know before killing us. But only if it's mandate.
It's pre-tech with class. Look it up.
Okay.
A more civilized time.
Well, then I'm worried about sending you alone.
Sorry, for more civilized age.
Zeke, are you up for a little moonwalking?
Of course. I mean, who doesn't love a good dance?
A what?
Nothing. Never mind.
Okay.
I'd love to go on the moon.
That would make me feel more comfortable. And Pete can carry extra oxygen so that you don't have to teleport and potentially trigger any kind of other sensors until it's necessary. This is getting a big operation already, but Bo, do you want to go and help with the well, with them kind of staying out of sight? Do you know how to survive on the moon?
Yeah, you just gotta shoot the moon, man.
Well, we don't want to shoot them yet, though.
I mean, Pete does still have. Where is it?
That pause.
He does still have the pressure tent. So we could actually go out, set up the pressure tent, hook it up, use it as a teleport base camp, and power it down. It'll still retain the oxygen, and then use that as our like halfway point.
Now I'm wondering if we
the expo point.
Now I'm wondering if we could use that as you guys be the forward scout, set up a location, and then Zeke can teleport back to the ship, You guys will set up some equipment to see if the station goes on alert because Zeke teleported or something. And then you can either teleport Cherry and Eva over there, or it can be a 3-man assault. Or you can watch the ship. Probably be better to have Eva and Cherry there and present. Sorry, I distracted myself. I've Eva'd. So what I'm thinking is, instead of just approaching to see what's there, approaching to, as you say, basically set up a forward outpost.
Yeah.
If you can
do
possibly
that.
get there without being noticed, then that outpost would let us spend a little bit of time to study and see what's going on there before we make our move.
I mean, no promise to like not being spotted if they're turning scopes on us, but like we'll do our best.
Oh, okay, then I think Bo should go also. He's good at that. Okay. Rest up and prepare to go get us a cool weapon.
I almost don't care what's inside so long as we get that cannon.
It looks so good. I don't know if the Swallowtail will be able to fit it, but I'll start doing some calculations.
We'll figure it out.
Of course we will. Okay, make sure you're charged. Zeke, Bo, go eat, charge up.
Does Bo make that connection? Curious.
Make what connection? I guess not.
There you go. Answers the question.
Yep. She told Pete to charge up, and then said to Zeke and Bo, go eat and charge up.
Okay, so what does our initial moon landing party look like?
Probably just like a bunch of backpackers.
I think he
Very
means which
little-
characters, right?
His daughter, he was forced.
No, come on. That was good.
A little bit of both.
Okay. So, does anybody, as a player, object to just sending the 3 of them out to set up a forward outpost?
No.
It leaves Eva and Cherry on the ship for flying rescue if needed, in case there's any kind of psychic jammer stuff. And it gives us fire support from the Reaper battery if we absolutely need it. Yeah.
Okay.
And puts the people that are definitely more competent at going outdoors. Going outdoors.
Survival.
Yeah.
Okay then. So, our 3 intrepid heroes are geared up. Cherry is on the approach, angling very low, skimming over the surface of the moon. And yeah, as you've dropped down close to the surface, yeah, it's a very rough terrain, and Cherry is dodging up and down and around outcroppings and various obstacles, trying to make sure to keep as much between you and this bunker as possible. Go ahead and give me a pilot check with dexterity.
Okay. Pilot.
Before she
pilot.
rolls, did I get program with you? Oh, I didn't get any program with her.
You
Am
want
I
to do
allowed to
some
roll now?
leadership?
Yeah, I was gonna try and maybe help her out with some terrain scan analysis. Would you consider that? That's normally programmed though, and she doesn't have any program at all.
Yeah, I would want something else for that. I kind of imagine Eva, coming in, like getting ready to, yeah, I'm gonna step in and help, and then kind of gets, catches a whiff of not a whiff, but like catches some conversation between Cherry and Ryu and the stuff they're shooting back and forth at each other, and she's like, yeah, actually, maybe I'll leave that to them. But she pivots because she's a good leader.
Yeah. So sorry, no assist from Eva.
Okay.
Yikes.
Oof.
That's gonna
think
want to
I-
re-roll.
Need to re-roll that.
Surprisingly, that is not a success roll.
That is hitting.
my word,
Whoa,
why?
what the? Same
Uh-oh.
same numbers,
Oh.
same exact dice.
It is.
How?
This
Time to
certainly
reload the Roll20 page.
this calls for a
That is hitting everything on the way down.
this calls for an alternate outcome.
It does. That's
did
hey, look,
reload
there's a
my-
tree. Bang. No, don't hit the tree. There's another one. Bang.
I did reload my Roll20 page just in case.
Alright.
Right, so you said
So-
pilot with dexterity, though?
Yes. In this case, yes.
Okay.
So Avery, are you around to give a thumbs up or thumbs down on alternate outcome?
Oh yeah, I'm just over here talking to no one.
Oh, gotcha.
Yes. And I was wondering, does it actually make it any easier considering Zeke could just teleport us to the surface? Like,
Good. But yeah, I'm imagining this is like Zeke is, there in the cockpit hanging out and, gets a flash of premonition of, you know, the ship, exploding into a million pieces and everyone screaming in fiery death, and
Yikes.
yanks on that yanks on the whatever it calls it, the strands of fate.
The nope
look
neurons.
now. If them's the breaks, I don't feel like we would take that kind of risk. Are you doing this thing again, Ben?
This is your this is me narrating the flavor of
You're
your
talking about
alternate
the thing where he
outcome.
tries to kill his friends?
No.
That thing
No.
where he isn't clear about the consequences of our actions before he lets us do the dumb thing? Yeah, no, we're gonna alternate outcome this.
Yeah, I may be misremembering or thinking of a different. Yeah, can sense impending failure, so I'm dramatizing it slightly. He senses an impact. We'll say at least that much.
Not a fiery ball of death. Got it. Okay. Anyway.
Sound a little too much fun there. So Danielle, go ahead and roll again.
Okay. One more time.
No pressure.
Do I add a modifier?
Nope.
I can't remember.
No, you do not.
Oh, well.
If you rolled a 4 again, I was gonna sing it right back at you.
man, though.
Yeah, that is so much better though.
That is a little bit better. Um,
Ever so
Yeah.
slightly better.
Still, unfortunately, a
Not an
failure.
Again, I'm wondering why we even need to make the approach.
Well, the plan was to land the ship and let the three of you trek. There is some benefit in landing the ship. Well, there was until we crashed.
And then you were already landed, so the
Yeah,
point
yeah.
was moot. No,
It gives us a lower profile against any kind of sensors for one. You know, being on the ground as opposed to orbit.
no, and I apologize for overly dramatizing the impact there. I don't know why my impulse was to describe it that way. You do not crash in a fiery ball of explosive death. But
Hooray!
Woo!
in navigating these little canyons and crevasses on the surface of the moon, trying to stay below the line of sight of the enemy bunker and whatnot. Cherry does make a bit of a miscalculation, and at one point, there's an overhang that's more shadowed than expected, or something like that, and she does scrape the ship pretty hard along it, but is able to continue flying. Doesn't ground the ship or incapacitate it, but did take a nasty scrape. So we're going to. Okay. The ship just takes 3 damage.
Okay.
But yeah, Cherry can. She locks in a little more after that, and takes it just a little bit more slowly and carefully, and is able to get you guys the rest of the way to your plotted approach and a nice little hidey nook of a landing spot that still gives people on foot a relatively accessible exit and path towards the bunker.
Curious what Cherry's reaction. What is Cherry doing? Is she looking at Evo as things are scraping, or not as things are scraping? But is she worried about Eva? I guess.
She did scratch the baby.
By the way, I see some discussion in the chat about encumbrance and air and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Might I remind you that you guys made a fairly hefty purchase of vac skins last time around?
Yes, we did.
Mm-hmm.
So now you just need power cells.
You do not carry oxygen tanks for vac skins.
Yeah.
Okay.
I forgot
Since
about
it's
that.
got the stuff to crack its own oxygen.
All right, yeah, it requires no oxygen tank. I was thinking that it was just 24 hours and then needed oxygen after that.
Aren't Type A power cells pretty easy to carry? Pete
Yeah.
Oh
usually
yeah, I
just
got
has
like
his
8 of them.
Oh yeah,
cool.
Yeah,
Pete
you
only
super
has a
easy.
Type B, plus the one in the pressure tent.
Yeah,
I think you'd have your first 24 hours or whatever built into the skin.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, Pete doesn't need that. That's fine.
yeah. There's a battery slotted in
Batteries
already.
come included in TL5 technology.
Yeah.
And they're still good after 120 years,
Yep.
or however long it's been.
Yeah. Fortunately, the people who made modern post tech decided to follow some of the most standard uh, power specs from the previous age.
They just pushed the button on the machine, and it did BizBorp, and it did the thing that just magically made it work. You know, cargo cult style.
Even in the golden age of the Terran Mandate, it didn't make sense for every little device to have a fusion reactor in it.
Well then, as far as I'll take the storage unit back off of Pete here. It is listed on the ship sheet as on Pete. What's also on Pete is a telekinetic generator, so you don't even need to carry that many batteries.
Oh, I forgot about that. I forgot that he was supposed to have a TK generator. I did not add that. All
Oh,
right,
okay.
you taking the storage unit?
Yeah, I've put it back on the ship. Is basically it.
Okay, I'll remove it from my sheet.
Telekinetic generator is 2 encumbrance, but it recharges an A cell in 15 minutes with telekinesis.
I'll just throw it in there real fast.
Yeah.
I wish this was alphabetized.
Mm-hmm.
It is. In categories that you can't see.
Yeah, thanks,
Mhm.
guys. Wow, really? Telekinetic generators like at the top, and I scrolled so fast past it. Okay.
Yeah, it's
That
in
is on my
ammo and
sheet.
power, which is the first category. Oh, the categories were actually alphabetized too.
All right, so we've got
Still feel
the
like
three. We've tweaked the cargo that they're carrying with them, and ready to head out.
The only problem is it doesn't technically recharge a Type B.
No.
it does not.
Yeah, that's why I was concerned about 3 days travel max.
Yeah. Well, he has a spare, so technically, I think that makes it 6 days.
I thought he could go a week on one
Oh,
battery.
let me look.
Yeah, the 3 days was a round trip, unless I've misremembered the numbers.
Yeah, you.
I mean, you're probably right.
Oh, I thought you were. I thought you were saying 3 days one way.
Yes, I was. 3 days one way, so that he can make it there and back within a single away from ship charge round trip.
Mhm.
I mean, he always carries the backup.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, one Type B per week. So he's got essentially 2-week operational period.
Mm-hmm.
So even if it takes a week to walk there, he could just plug in the spare, just like you can with your drill while you're working. Go back for it. No, we're
Mhm.
good, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. And Eva and Cherry will sing karaoke while you guys trek off into the vast, barren, unknown.
Nice.
What kind of moon is this? Does it have any sort of atmosphere, GM?
Are there any Jennifers?
Most important question.
Jeffers.
Yep. Gotta know.
None that you've met so far.
Okay. Not a very good moon then.
Nope.
Yeah.
Insufficient moons.
Yeah, insufficient Jennifer moons, especially. All right, so yeah, you guys are on your way. Let's see. Do you have any sort of climbing gear?
I got a rope.
I do
Bo
not.
has a rope.
He
Doesn't
has a
have a
dessert.
climbing harness. Should I need to take that?
You say he does have a climbing harness?
Mm-hmm.
I'd say he definitely thinks that would be a smart thing to do.
How's the gravity?
What else do I gotta do?
Yeah, the gravity is a bit lighter than 1G or whatever. As the kind of galactic standard. But not so much that you're gonna go sailing off at a bit too much of a leap.
Okay.
And yeah, just enough to give you a bit of a spring in your step, and it does help to slightly offset the difficulty of the terrain, and that you're not having to trudge through it quite so heavily as you would on a larger celestial body. Yeah, the atmosphere wise, it is there is some atmosphere, but it is so thin as to be, unhelpful to breathing, and also doesn't provide just a ton of resistance on like re-entry. So a lot of large craters, and also plenty of small craters as well, which help with the treacherous, the treachery of the terrain. Treachery sounds wrong in that context. But anyway, um,
Melts.
yeah. So go ahead and each you give
How
me.
much?
Oh,
Oh, sorry. We're rearranging as I'm doing the climbing harness. Also remember to have a nav comp. Do you have 2 more encumbrance, Pete?
Oh yeah.
Can I
You want a nav comp?
toss you a meta tool and a nav comp?
Alright. Wait a second.
Okay, and then I'll have a climbing harness, and I think I still kept my 20 meters of rope. Yes.
yeah.
Okay, now I think my back is officially packed.
Okay. Um, I will. Yeah, this may be a late point to mention that Vaxskin does take 1 encumbrance.
You monster.
I was just glancing because I was like, man, Zeke has got like a ton of room
Oh,
in
I
his
don't think I did
backpack
add it,
stowed.
yeah.
I
And then
still have 6 encumbrance, guys.
then it occurred to me that like, oh, he also doesn't have his vac skin listed
I
here.
don't think I added the back skin to mine.
So that's 1 encumbrance. That's not
Oh
going to
no,
be a
it's this other.
major, especially if
There we
Zeke's
go.
or if Pete's got extra space. For now, we can go ahead. You guys are free to keep.
I have 2.
Oh, 2. Okay. You can keep
It's 'cause
juggling
they're
encumbrance a
added
little bit.
as other by default. That threw me off. Sorry.
Yeah. Anything you want to bring ought to be stowed or readied. But I'm gonna say Zeke's got enough extra room. We can kind of hand wave that you guys shuffle things around between backpacks so that nobody's weighed down too much, and you can get onto the trekking part, so we don't waste too much more time on that. And let's see. Yes, Avery, that is correct. I also forgot that you did that. So that's let's see.
He does not bring any climbing supplies.
Yes.
Hello.
Hello, welcome back.
Hey, yeah, for some reason I could see your squares lighting up, but I couldn't hear anything.
Oh.
Hmm.
So I had to just close it out and open it back up.
Well, sorry about that. We were just getting the last finishing touches on the gear bags, the backpacks and such. We've got Bo bringing a climbing harness, Zeke bringing nothing, and I believe Pete. There was maybe a rope somewhere, but Pete does not have a climbing harness.
Correct.
So, um,
But Pete does have exert.
yeah. So let's go ahead and get. I'll take either a survive check with strength or an exert strength from Pete and Bo.
There you go.
Nice.
Knucklehead doing knuckleheady things. Let's go, boys.
Oh, and Bo gets a modifier of 1 for his climbing harness. Nice. Wow. Nat 12. All right. So the three of you set off across the rocky, treacherous mountainscape. Nav comps in hand, and are managing pretty well with the terrain. It is still pretty slow going, horizontally speaking, because of the ups and downs. But you guys make liberal use of Bo's climbing harness and Pete's brute strength, and still make decent and an expected pace. So it sounded like you guys were you planning to go ahead and trek the almost full 3 days towards the bunker, try to get uh, relatively close, and then use that as like a place to teleport back from after setting up camp?
Yep. Trying to stay out of any kind of observation and find a place to set up the little camp outside of observation.
Okay, nice.
That was Eva's plan. That's not necessarily what they're going to do.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, the wilderness trekking part of this does go well. Um, I at one point relatively early on, as you guys descend a bit of a steep part and then have to do a bit of climbing on an almost vertical part. Uh, Bo gets straight to work with his climbing harness, ascending carefully and securing everything as he goes. Pete following along, forcing his his big meaty robot hands into crevices here and there, and doing a passable impression of a rock climber as an industrial bot. And
I mean, if he needs a handhold, he just slams a hand in there and makes one.
Right.
Let's go.
right. Avery, do you want to tell me what Zeke is doing, or do you want me to narrate for you?
I mean, in my mind, it's like a scene out of your favorite cartoon. He just walks up the wall.
Just walks up right between Pete and Bo as they're each doing their climbing.
He might offer to
And-
carry something up as he's passing by.
Yeah, he pauses, like kind of squats next to them, just sticking horizontally out from the wall.
You're like, can I take that pack off you? Make this climb any easier?
Which one of them, or is he saying this to both of them, or does he single one of them out?
I can single out Bo. Pete's
Yeah. How does Moto react to that?
Well, he's having a great time, so. Like, nah, you can just climb on out the way.
All right, he does. He's gonna sit at the top.
Teleporters, man.
I'm getting I just imagined the scene from The Princess Bride when they're climbing the cliffs of despair, and he's sitting at the top, like taunting them, and also like, "Can I throw you a rope? Like, come on, it's taking forever." Uh, you sure I cannot help? All right, so yeah, you guys make it up, and you're off on your road trip through the barren landscape. Um, so yeah, you guys make it through. Let's go ahead and just get let's get one more pair of exert or survive checks from you two.
Yeah, what checks? Sorry.
Another pair of those checks, either exert or survive, one from each of you.
Yeah, I'm gonna just exert some more.
Okay. All right. Bo probably needs an alternate outcome here. It'll be a partial success.
Let me check on my effort. I think we're still good. Yeah,
Yeah, you should be.
that 3, I think, with 4 left.
Okay.
Just gotta think the teleport back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
2, right? Yeah, so we're good.
Okay, so go ahead and take that reroll, Bo.
No.
Ooh, bummer. All right. Well, Bo hits some snags on the trek. And maybe at one point, part of a rock face shifts and a piece breaks off. Sets him to swinging. Takes a little help with Zeke's able to be there to help and also retrieve part of the climbing harness that fell down a ways, which sets you guys back a bit, but no one is injured. Just slows down the trip a bit. And I don't know what you chalk it up to, but Bo just has a bit of an off day on the second day of the trek there. But then you guys, after taking a bit of extra time, then on the third day, you haven't made it all the way to the bunker, but you you find a good vantage point that you're able to observe the bunker from afar, and but set up the pressure tent down in a crevice well out of line of sight, and just barely peek over the edge to do your little spying. I mean, scouting. And I assume that somebody has binoculars, basically. I think that's.
I got my panspectral optics, baby.
Oh, nice. Okay. Those, I didn't remember those having that, but I wouldn't surprise me if that were the case.
My special eyes.
Your special eyes. Yeah, yeah, I guess it's not explicitly there. I don't mind adding that in. That's a relatively minor addition. So, yeah, I'll grant you a built-in set of binoculars. So, Bo at least can observe from afar. And yeah, so you guys can pitch the tent. Don't have to necessarily pressurize it yet and waste any of its energy, but that up,
Ethan,
stash
no.
any stuff that you want to in there. Oh no. Look, a distraction. All right, so we will call the trek out a success. Now, what do you guys want to do about this observation? There's something about, I don't know if I misheard somebody talking about wanting to watch the bunker before doing anything else.
I mentioned that, and it was basically they get out there, set up the forward observation point post, and then basically come back and get Cherry and Eva. We bring a fresh supply of batteries so that they don't have to necessarily recharge them. Plug their used A's into the ship. And at that point, all of us, not all of us, but the team in general, observe and see if there's anything that we can suss out about this bunker before deciding how we want to approach it.
Okay. So I'm guessing that are you gonna want to you're gonna want to have, well, let's see, I guess this will be the setup of the pressure tent here at the observation point is going to be what's the word? It's after a full night's rest where he got to recover his effort.
Okay.
So Zeke should be. He's got full his full uncommitted effort at this point. And let's see. Yeah, single oxygen tank. So yeah, you guys 24 hours. So yeah, the single oxygen tank that I think somebody packed was enough to run the tent for the trip out there, so you guys could sleep at night. But yeah, you'll want to have a fresh one and all that. Um, you guys want to do like a jump back to the ship and then right back out, same morning essentially.
That was my thought. And I was thinking just Zeke would jump back to the ship to save his effort, because he can jump back with the expended power cells, whatever they didn't bother to recharge along the way. And we'll bring fresh B cells also.
Makes sense. Okay, because he can do. See, I believe it's his deal. I don't know if that he has. Let's see, teleportation 3. Did you add? You don't have that on your sheet, Avery. Did you? You took the one that makes your teleportation
For other people?
effortless, didn't you?
Oh, the master.
Yeah, effortless apportation. We did note on your level up, but I think it just didn't make it onto your sheet.
I think you're thinking of proficient.
No, so proficient is the one that lets you do it more quickly and do little short hops for free. There is one. Let's see. Let me pull up my reference here. Oh goodness, navigating my file. I haven't fixed my file structure here yet since my new computer. Yeah, effortless is a level 3 thing, so you don't have to commit effort to use it yourself. You only have to use effort for the add-ons, basically. So you still have to spend an effort for the day when you bring people with you. But teleporting by yourself costs you no effort.
Oh yeah, and we did. And just I guess I just didn't put it on the sheet.
Yeah. But yeah, so then Zeke can leave Bo and Pete at the little forward base. Yeah, with his fancy pantsy 1,000-kilometer range at teleportation level 3, he has got more than enough range to get back to the ship. That was, by the way, the other benefit of landing the ship. It was much easier to maintain the exact correct position, or the exact same position over the course of like 2 or 3 days, by landing than by trying to stay there in orbit for you to be able to teleport back to them.
Yeah. Makes sense.
And so Zeke pops back up in the ship, I guess in the cargo bay, wherever you guys would have geared up and gathered in. You can go get everybody else, Cherry and Eva.
Okay. Just checking to see what else. So Eva doesn't need to be carrying Bo's survival kit anymore. Hey Ethan, will you retake ownership of Bo's survival kit on your sheet?
I'll allow it.
That way I can just erase it from mine.
Oh yeah, I got it.
Okay. Sweet. Alright, what else do we need?
Yeah, let's see. Oh yeah, you don't have
I don't think I'll take that.
Far Thought. That's right.
Definitely taking a survey scanner and a bioscanner though. And I guess how heavy are B types? Okay, they're only one each. Alright. Ben, I assume it's reasonable that we've got Type Bs in our ship locker. That's basically what it's there for, right?
Yes.
Okay. Uh, Ironically, I didn't even think about it. Pete probably could have had a climbing harness also from the ship's
Mhm.
locker.
Yeah. Probably.
Yeah, that is what the ship locker is for, so that you don't have to always try and plan and prepare every single piece of equipment you'll ever possibly need.
Mm-hmm.
No one.
Yeah. Yeah, not always on planet side. You still gotta put it in your backpack though.
Yes.
And yeah, I don't know. Well, yeah.
Speaking of which, any other junk we might want to grab?
Yeah, we'll bring 2
I'm
carousels.
gonna grab a telescoping pole since we're dungeon crawling.
Oh no. Is it alright for me to add a climbing harness for Eva, then?
Yeah.
Okay. Same basic tent
Premise.
there. Yeah, premise, yeah.
I'm guessing. Does Cherry want to pack a climbing harness? Or is she gonna decline? Hey Danielle, you there? Uh-oh. She might have stepped away for a second. Why does oh, interesting. I guess the Vax skin doesn't give armor, so it's not in the armor section of the.
It's not. I added it anyways, just because that feels like the easiest place for me to find it.
Yeah, it feels like a clothes thing, but I guess
Yeah.
it's
Right.
not clothes that they sort by its armor.
Exactly. Yeah, thank
I'm wondering-
goodness for being able to add a custom thing.
Yep.
I think we'd want to insta panel for any larger than a patched putty vacuum situation.
Yeah, wouldn't be a bad idea. I mean, instant panels come in handy for other things too. They're just generally
Yeah, and
handy.
it's other dungeon crawly kind of
Yep.
activities.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Can we say that Eva can overburden herself just long enough to deliver some of these extra goods to the
Oh, yeah, I mean,
outpost?
yeah, you're totally fine to overburden yourself.
Okay.
Over encumber.
Yeah, and then just long enough to hand it off to Bowen and such not.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody else to carry.
Yeah, makes sense. I forgot the combat field uniform is only 1 encumbrance. That's nice.
Yeah, that's another nice one.
Yeah. All right. I should actually just take the small advanced weapon off of Eva. She's not likely to get into a knife fight, and any kind of knife that she would need should be included in the toolkit.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just other that. Hey, I hear Danielle. Think.
Danielle, you there? You okay? Let me go check on her real quick while you
Yeah.
guys are sorting out equipment stuff.
All right. Bets on if Danielle fell asleep.
I'm gonna go with yes.
Yeah. That seems like another baby coming type of thing.
We're all pros at this point.
Me too, just by knowledge osmosis.
That was kind of my point.
Oh, gotcha. I didn't need to say it then.
Or baby osmosis.
I don't think I like it phrased that way, Ethan.
Baby Osmosis Jones.
No.
Oh, that's way cooler.
Although I would not want to deny Osmosis Jones the opportunity to start a family. So there may be a baby Osmosis Jones at some point.
I was just thinking, should we teleport one of the bombs to the forward base?
Oh, right. No, he was carrying those.
Okay, I was just checking,
Ah,
just
I
in case.
totally forgot about those.
Yeah, make sure you
Yeah,
get the
'cause I was
demo
like-
charges. Yeah.
If we need to blow open a door, you know, the roll to shape it and put it on there would be useful. Because, you know, bunker buster in your pocket's always a good thing.
Heck yeah.
it's- Ben had mentioned the lighter encumbrance on the suit. That did let me pack in one of my grenades.
Nice. I still have the wildlife grenades, just in case.
For the moon man.
I mean, if there are pirates here, it would be handy.
Yeah, good to be able to mace them.
Feel like there is one limitation of the sheet where it automatically adds weapons into your gear section based on you adding the attacks. And that's the only way you can add weapons, unless you just manually add it. I can't change the
Yeah.
number of demo charges in that little gear section in the equipment section.
Yeah, it's a little funky for your expendables like that. Same thing with the grenades.
Yeah.
You have to add it in a separate note, or in my case, I went Googling back through Discord to like how many grenades. I
Well, I think I'm just gonna add another demo charge attack line.
Yeah, that
Well-
might just be the easier way to.
Yeah.
Are you saying you couldn't add a second one in the equipment line?
I
It doesn't let
could
you
have.
add the quantity on the.
Yeah.
On there, so you couldn't just put like I have 5 grenades or 2 demo charges.
Oh,
Yeah.
in the weapons section where
Mhm.
the it spells out the attacks. Yeah, no, because
Or
it's
even in your equipment, it cuts off the quantity section.
Yep.
So
Doesn't
it's
do
even
much
if you
much.
own like 2 laser pistols, I guess you'd have to put them in a separate.
Wait a second. Huh. Oh, I guess oh, interesting. Yeah, you'd need to put them separately. That's weird. I wonder why it does that. Because you can totally carry more than one laser pistol and just have one attack line for laser pistol.
Mm-hmm. It also messes with a thing that I like to do with my NPCs and would probably do for characters also if I played a heavy gun nut. With my NPCs, I just add all the weapons. So on an NPC sheet, so it's a little bit different. I'm not actually tracking the encumbrance. But if I did that gun nut like that with a character, I would probably want to make a line for all the frequent weapons that I use, and then just X them out when I'm not carrying them. But this doesn't let me.
Yeah, you can just do other to effectively remove the encumbrance.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
But yeah,
Having to do
having
that right
multiple-
now with all my multitude of weapons. I think I have. What is my line on weapons now?
Right. Probably got like 6 of them or something.
11, 10 if you don't count the grenade.
Nice.
All right. Well, Eva
Alright.
is fully packed. 5 ready, 11 stowed.
Very cool. Yeah, I think Danielle, you think Cherry's gonna bring along a climbing harness?
Yeah. Why not?
Okay.
Go ahead.
Very nice, very nice. We'll stow a couple things. Trying to do the math here. 1, 2, 3. Yep, that's 4. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to remember what you guys bought as far as hacking gear. I know you got line shunts. Oh, you did buy a data phase tap.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. I don't even remember off the top of my head what that does. Is it just one of those like, boom, I'm in kind of things?
I
Not
don't know
really.
if I remember myself. I think we just went through that list.
Oh yeah, the thing. So
Okay.
you can tap into a line just being close.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Um,
that's the one. There's the TL5 one that has like a line shunt but does the hack for you.
It's like a
Yeah.
jack of some sort.
Yeah.
The stiletto charge is the one
Stiletto
that's
charge.
That's cool. Yeah.
like one shot like hacks the system for you. The data phase tap is like connecting you like wirelessly to a line up to 15 feet away. What is that? 5 meters? Yeah. That's through
Nice.
through like a decent bit of ordinary walls.
Yeah, I've
Very
never
cool.
let my players have one of those because I like them I like making them good at terminals. I'm mean.
Yeah, I figure if you're willing to shell out the 5,000 credits, then you can get within 5 meters of the data line.
5,000 is nothing. My players just made 6 million.
I
6
figured.
million?
Yeah.
You're spoiling those guys, Dex.
They rolled the absolute best they could roll on buying several hundred tons. Well, I decided that the place had hundreds of tons of something, and then they rolled the absolute best they could on selling it. So, yeah,
I hope you made him work for it.
there's definitely some effort involved there. Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, I was gonna say I'm sure there's lots of stuff that happened between point A and B that we're just not. There's not enough time to tell about.
Yeah. I'm not trying to advertise my game here.
When he's like, "Wow, if we played in Dex's game, we could make 6 million credits just rolling on the trade table."
There's also
Luring them in with false promises of wealth and glory.
there's also a very different like we run different games. Is in terms of setting and style, I'd say.
Yeah, because I think your games tend to get involved with lots of like faction level stuff and moving and shaking at much higher levels than especially this game is aiming to do.
Yeah.
You guys were definitely approaching that scale on the other campaign that you were playing.
True, we were. We also had the credits to show it.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, I will mention just as an aside because this has come up and it's relevant. I am trying to be a little bit careful because I know you guys have talked about wanting to like kind of aim for a certain scale of gameplay with this group.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I'm just like rug pulling rewards for you or anything, but I am trying to walk a balance, a line there of not just like dumping massive amounts of reward into your laps all at once.
Oh, I know. I was just surprised when you said 6 million.
Right, yeah. Yeah,
that
just
was an extreme situation.
yeah, I did want to point. because I was just since it came up, I didn't want to say that explicitly as a reminder, just in case you guys at some point are like, yeah, actually, you know what? I think we've had some fun tooling around, you know, bopping around, staying out of big stuff and being the little guys and just having fun. You know, I think we want to go for some more like big deal, hard hitting stuff. Which this does feel like a step in that direction.
I don't think there's
Just
ever going to be a well. I say that, but I'm just not projecting. I don't think there's ever going to be a point at which I at least am going to be like, yeah, we're going to start doing bigger things. But like this as a singular opportunity, oh yes.
and there's, you know, avoiding bigger stuff doesn't mean avoiding making tons of money. It means
Right.
avoiding getting tangled into bigger plots and, you know, goings on.
Yeah.
Um,
I meant to list it as a fave in that session where Cherry negotiated with Nikki Nova, but the fact that we sidestepped what looked like a major faction involvement quest line was
Yeah.
actually a highlight for me. It was nice to be able to look at that and see, oh wow, we could make so much money, but that's not really in character, and we're not going to do that.
yeah,
That felt good.
that was cool. I'm glad you pointed that back out because that was I was proud of you guys.
Yeah.
Ethan. I was like, I don't know what all these chumps are talking about. I want money.
Yeah, yeah.
Keep your small ambitions to yourselves. All right, so back to the point. Back to the game. You guys are geared up. Zeke collects Cherry and Eva. They bid Ryu good luck and farewell. Hit us up on the comms if something gets desperate, but otherwise, let's keep it quiet.
Mhm.
And then you guys are back. You guys appear next to the setup pressure tent, powered down, and to see Pete and Bo hanging out, waiting for your arrival. So Zeke ought to be at 1 effort for the day, and everybody should be full hit points. Shouldn't have any more system strain lingering other than for your whatever cybernetics you've got, and should be all ready to rock and roll. Now, as far as this observation goes, how do you want to set up for this? I'm going to say you guys brought at least a couple pairs of binoculars, obviously, for doing this observation.
Mhm.
I have ruled that the panspectral optics include some built-in ability to do magnification. It's not, it takes a little bit of getting used to. Maybe not quite as familiar to operate as binoculars, but having it built into your little robotic eyeballs is pretty cool.
Yeah. And probably doesn't go quite as far, magnify quite as much as binoculars can, considering that's a whole dedicated piece of equipment just to do one thing.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
definitely bring some binoculars.
but yeah. So you
I
guys
wasn't thinking. What about just the scopes?
like on your weapons.
Like I got a shear rifle, and I think that has a range out to like 1,000 meters or something.
True. Let me double check something, but I believe that where is there it is. It doesn't. Let's see. Yeah, he put it in. I don't know what this means. I've looked this up before and I can't remember. I feel like there's. I don't know if you remember Dex. I'm gonna just rule off the top of my head that weapon scopes are not going to do what TL4 binoculars could do. Not even a sniper rifle scope.
Oh,
Just
I guess I was
because.
thinking probably the TL3 level. I mean,
Okay,
like,
yeah.
some of these that, like, the range of the gun and the fact that the scope is not sold as, like, something else you have to buy for your gun would
Yeah.
imply that it has a scope.
Okay, so the
Yeah.
first number is magnification level, and the second number is lens diameter. So basically, think the bigger the lens diameter is, the more you can see at the farthest magnification.
Yeah.
I think.
Um.
Oh no, I'm wrong about that. The 150 is just how much light can go in, so how useful they are in low light. So yeah, just 25 times magnification, and
Yeah.
that's the useful part.
Yeah. So I will not get too too nitty gritty with this, but we will just say that you guys have set up far enough away that you can see a reasonable level of detail
Hmm.
to try to look at the outside of this bunker for movement or any sorts of details that are significant to you using TL4 magnification.
Okay.
But your weapon scopes and even your built-in optics with your built-in magnification on your panspectral optics are not quite up to par for that purpose
Sounds
because
good.
you were going for maximum distance to avoid getting spotted by the bunker itself.
Now I've got
And
two.
oh, go
Sorry,
ahead.
I've got two questions. The second is dependent on the first. The first is there enough atmosphere for a regular drone to operate here, or does it need to be a Void Hawk?
I'm going to say it would need to be a Void Hawk.
Okay, then unfortunately Cherry's oh goodness, oh Pop-Tart. Cherry's Pop-Tart is not going to be helpful here. I forgot what I named it. Assuming Cherry didn't rename it. All right, that nixes the second question.
Okay. Um, so you guys are in observation range of this bunker, and you can start gathering information. First of all, just a look at the thing, taking it as a whole. Um, it is impressive. It looks imposing. It is it's all sleek and uh, anciently modern in a pre-techie sort of way. It's it's missing some of the kind of, I guess you could say, sort of ugly bulk that even most post-tech facilities require just for the the sort of hardware and architecture infrastructure that a I guess a zero atmosphere and low gravity installation would require.
Mm-hmm.
So it, but it with that it more than makes up for it in sweeping and imposing architectural style, and seems to be as you take some time observing it, it does seem to be equipped with some weapons some things that look like weapons, pointed at the starry sky, and you make out a couple that a couple things move. A couple of them move, which lets you actually single them out from the surrounding architecture. You know, perhaps momentarily tracking something that passed through near orbit or something. That look a little bit smaller, but very notable are two massive installations that seem very likely to be the source of the the strange green beam weapons that were fired at your ship in the vision that Zeke had.
Yeah.
Just their size and design do seem reminiscent of a beam weapon. And you have enough of a vantage point that you can see some of the top of the thing and what looks like, basically blast doors that are large enough to accept a cruiser-sized ship.
Ooh.
And
Home base.
besides that, you can pick out a couple points where there seems to be some kind of large bay door of some sort at the ground level on the side of the structure, that, judging by the scale, is large enough to admit some sort of vehicle. Definitely have a large enough opening to, for something like the equivalent size of like an ATV Explorer, which you guys have driven before. And but you don't really see a lot of evidence of there's not like a road or anything coming out from this bunker. No sort of beaten path either. And you really don't see any indication. You can watch for several hours and see no signs of movement outside, just the occasional movement of one of the weapon emplacements, or at one point, well, no, I guess you wouldn't even have that either. Teal 5 is beyond silly stuff like satellite dishes. I was about to say, occasional still moving of some kind of satellite dish, but nah, I don't need that nonsense.
I've got a post in Roll20 about it, but basically Eva's going to set up her survey scanner to just begin recording and kind of just internally flag movement events so that she can bookmark movement events so she can quickly scrub to them and review while we turn our attention to other things. Like Eva wants to, of course, scan through the various wavelengths of EM radiation and see if there's any communication happening from this bunker within it, if it escapes to her eyeballs, or external. Basically, seeing what she can see with her eyes.
Okay. Very good. Anybody else? Okay. Well, about how long would you want to wait and do this observation?
Um, is anyone opposed to 24 hours? That is what Eva is proposing.
Not I.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, this is bigger than we thought it was, so Eva is even more interested in collecting as much data as possible before we come up with a plan. Eva's actually a little bit excited here.
Yeah, so you can take 24 hours. Eva's got her survey scanner recording. It doesn't have quite the same magnification, but it can still probably catch. You're using it to flag movements, so use it to you can make a little beep or something and give you a spot to look at if something were to happen like that.
Yeah. Well, it's supposed to be able to record like hundreds of hours.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's got plenty of capacity to do that. And I'd say setting something like that up would be pretty simple with, especially with a little help from Cherry if it got a little tricky, but
Mhm.
it's not too complicated a use case.
In fact, she might even just offload that to Cherry. Have Cherry
Okay.
set it up to bookmark events that. Well, Eva would probably set it up just for any movement, but if Cherry wants to get more advanced with it, any movement or anything interesting that it can detect that is not just a ship traveling by. Now you get
Mhm.
those the door cameras that record every car going by. Yeah, hopefully Cherry can avoid that.
Yeah. Okay. Then yeah, you will settle in and everybody else can help too. And 24 hours will pass with no changes in the observed behavior.
Hmm. Were we able to pick up anything from various observation tools that we have?
Talking about like signal wise?
Signals. I mean, I suppose I should have been clear. I don't think that Eva would just be sitting around waiting this entire time. Um, but she's already using her survey sensor or survey scanner. Yeah, survey scanner
Scanner, yeah.
to record. Hmm.
Yeah, I mean it's not gonna do much at this range anyway. You could have already, you've already done the atmospheric and gravitic readings of the area. Um, you could always pause to check them again, just make sure that's not fluctuating in some unexpected way. You
Yeah,
can analyze samples, but
I think that's kind of what I was hoping for, but I got stuck on this idea that, oh, it's recording, so I can't use that one. No, you're right. She could just kind of do it while it's recording, and even maybe it gets some shots of the sky instead, but she'll set it back up
Mhm.
later on.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, the uh, she doesn't observe any appreciable changes in the atmospheric readings or gravitational readings either, as she's monitoring the area, and does not notice any real change. Even the various uh, you know turrets or weapons that she's observing uh, don't really do much. Other than that, they do, the smaller ones particularly do occasionally move just a bit.
Okay.
But the large ones you haven't observed move at all.
And it's that large one that looks like it's the beam weapon.
Yeah.
Well, it's not a wasted 24 hours because we still got information. We didn't see anybody moving around. We didn't observe anything that would lead us to believe that that would confirm for us that the place is inhabited. So, point Eva looks to Pete and, well, actually, she just looks at the team as, okay, so what we want is in this one, she puts survey sensor, survey scanner in front of her. It's got a little map of the above ground, what we can see. I'm pretty sure that's where the beam weapon is at. That's what we want. But I wouldn't mind getting into that facility completely.
I think getting in is a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there's more in there. Maybe it's a base we could use.
Like a little
Yep.
hideaway.
Yeah. If we have trouble getting in, I bet Orion might be interested helping us get in.
Hmm.
He might be busy though.
But if we get in, it's ours.
Yeah.
Okay.
Salvage rights.
I would have to look and see if it actually does belong to anybody, of course, but we'll figure that out when we get in. I didn't see anything that should be able to identify or detect us climbing down, but maybe we don't want to take the chance. Zeke, would you teleport us straight over here? Neva points to a place that she thinks would be a good teleport like entry location that's out of line of sight of everything else. Somebody that's better at sneaking around than her could probably find something better. But shit, the gist of it is, yeah, maybe we can just teleport down to a good location to begin, unless Zeke wants to conserve all of his effort for the things that we might get up to once we do get in.
I mean, if no one interjects, Zeke's gonna agree to do that.
I'm sorry, which part was that?
Teleport us to the unsuspecting location that you have picked out.
Okay, cool.
Okay. Well, doesn't sound like anybody else has objections. So, everybody gather round. Zeke's about to do a thing.
All right.
Any last preparation or comments, questions, concerns?
Eva tells everyone, make sure your weapons are ready, just in case. She is mostly looking at Zeke and Cherry.
Yeah, Pete's already ready. And so
Yeah.
I'm sure.
All right. Yeah, I was gonna say. I think. Yeah, Cherry is going to have. She's going to have stashed her climbing harness, and she's got all of her tools and her hacking equipment ready to hand.
All right.
Okay. Let's see. It is 11:20, so we're about at our time. We want to go ahead and just wait and teleport in next session.
I'm okay with that. It also gives opportunity for, if you do a map, then somebody who's got good sneak could point out a better place than wherever Eva pointed.
Okay.
If you do a map. I mean, even if you don't do a map, they could probably do that.
Yeah, true. Sounds good.
Yeah, I'm real annoyed because I didn't realize I was muted until just now.
Oh no.
And I literally have been just making like little comments here and there for like probably a good like 5 minutes. I was like, man, they're really. I guess yeah, that makes sense. I'm not really doing anything worth commenting on.
Not picking up what
So-
you're putting down.
Danielle, we will never ignore you. That goes for everyone here. I don't think there's ever been a time when somebody said something and nobody's responding unless it's a joke or really bad.
Oh, I think it was, but like that's what's funny is like I was literally just playing so like passively that it was like, yeah, like Cherry would say something like you
Oh,
know.
no.
It was like, yeah. It was like when when Eva just now was like telling us to be careful. It was like Cherry would be strangely quiet and she would nod, you know, and it's like, oh, she's being strangely quiet also because she's muted.
I was hoping for some pushback about Eva telling people to be ready because she's observationally she's the least experienced at actually using the weapon that she carries. Cherry has at least fired it and used it. Eva has
fired Barry before.
yes. Eva shot once, hit the inside of the van, and has never really used it again.
Why?
Oh yeah, because she didn't even. Did she not even shoot at the snakes?
There was a little bit of an incident with the snake, yes. I wouldn't consider that firing, more like trying to laser mine the snake.
Oh yeah.
She was trying to mine the snake off of her.
hmm Oh boy. Yeah, so there's some of that to be done. Yeah, and Danielle, by the way, feel free to reconsider what equipment Cherry has readied. I went ahead and readied stuff up for you at one point. That seemed like this kind of stuff you'd want to have ready to hand. But yeah, I guess we will fade to black as everyone is gathering around Zeke, and Eva's giving her last second pep talk before Zeke teleports you all to the indicated location. And we will pick up there next time. And so I'll get 1 XP. We need a 64. And we'll start getting some faves together. Starting with Dex tonight.
Oh, really? Oh.
Yes, we're
Well,
going to do the thing that we do at the end of the session, now that we're at the end of the session.
Oh wow.
I wasn't expecting that.
No, it's fairly understandable and common for somebody to be like, "Oh wait, I'm first tonight. Oh garbage."
Yeah, can I pass and come
You can
back?
pass. Yeah, we'll allow it. Ethan, that makes you next up.
Road trip.
Oh, that's right. That was my fave. Oh, singing bro trip. Oh, singing. Well, he called it chanting, but singing the bro trip song.
Yeah, that was I forgot the part. Spends the first several hours of chanting.
Yes. It's like the Doom song, but bro trip. Uh,
Great reference. All right, so Ethan and Dex both like the Bro Trip song. Robert, what about you?
sorry to jump on you like that, Ethan.
Oh, the scratchy landing. Just
The moon
a
trees.
bad bit of luck. Yeah, the moon trees. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, the scanner told me there weren't going to be any trees. No. Yeah, so one at Jerry's expense, I suppose. Avery, what about yours?
Yeah, I'm gonna give it to our merciless GM for not killing us, and I think was it quote a fiery ball of death
And screaming.
and screaming. Yes, of course. Who can forget the screaming?
This is why you max out your pilot skill as quickly as possible.
Yes.
Wrong roll and your ship just
Yeah.
No, I don't know if you meant to say merciful or merciless, but I heard merciless.
I'm gonna leave it up to your interpretation there. That's more telling than anything.
uh, if what did they say? If the boot fit. Yeah, I can't really put as my favorite not killing you in a fiery ball of death and screaming. But I do think that I think I have to give it up to yeah, I think I don't know how to phrase this exactly. Maybe the nonchalant kinetic traversal that Zeke whipped out just completely unannounced because he has never done that before, and just casually just like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna walk up the cliff face, and I had there had to be a moment for that revelation. And I think my second favorite would be I guess I'll just say careful planning on the party's part. Just because you guys have been very methodical. And that's not everybody's cup of tea necessarily, but I enjoy the amount of care and thought you guys put into making a plan to avoid any possible traps or dangers, and just avoiding the urge to go bum rushing straight in. Danielle, you're up for the last faves here. Are you there? I don't think you're muted right now. All right. I think we might have lost Danielle again. But I think that will wrap us up. For now, we can maybe get Danielle's later. And yeah, unless anyone has one to add.
Nope.
Alrighty. Then we will call that a session. Ended at 11:30 on the dot.
Nice.
And look forward to next time popping up on the bunker's doorstep. I see that little
You see that, huh?
artistic license that you took, yeah. I'll say that's fitting with well, let's see, I guess she took it back last time, but yeah. She did jokingly say that her nap was her favorite part of the last session.
She did.
Well, then we can end the recording.